Welcome to a cold riddle flameflash.net episode 32. That's right, I have a cold. I apologize for any change in quality of my voice therein. But let's get started so neither of us have to suffer for too long. The Raptr report is a little more full this week. Don't forget to go out and grab your 3DS Ambassador games. You get your 10 new Game Boy Advance games. Those just came out recently. I think I mentioned them last week. And so, Wario Land 4 will start off the Raptr report. This is one of those Game Boy Advance classics. It feels really simple right now compared to current generation platformers. But thinking back on how it was then, it's definitely a natural progression of the original Wario Land for the Game Boy. The original Game Boy. You know, that big gray handheld crate. That's what I'm picturing in my mind. That's what I played the original Wario Land on. Not some downloadable thing. Didn't even think of that ability at that point. Anyway, I'm sniffing Vicks for anybody who happens to be peeking at the YouTube recording or the Ustream. It helps a little bit with the cold. I can at least breathe. Anyway, I also had a hankering for another classic, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. This is the original arcade game, not the, say, Turtles in Time reshelled remake. And this is on the Xbox, so it was great for Raptr to come in there and just automatically record everything and the amount of time I was in there. Time played, 30 minutes total, which I find funny that I didn't manually record my time, which is in half-hour increments for the shortest period, but that's what it ended up being anyway when playing through with my two boys. This is a simple game. It's very straightforward, so a 3-year-old can easily play it. But because a 3-year-old can easily play it, a almost 30-year-old can sit back and really appreciate the simplicity for what it is, a standard side-scrolling beat-em-up. There aren't extra quirks, there aren't extra things you have to do. It's just a side-scroller beat-em-up with infinite lives, because it's a perfect port remake, so you're just constantly tossing in quarters. Not too bad, thanks to the fact that for some reason they set the default amount of lives you get to 1 per quarter. Guess that might be the hard mode in some of the arcades. Well, I don't remember playing it too much in the arcades, probably because of that. I more remember it from the NES days. And in the NES version, they actually tack in those 2 other levels and let you fight the Fly version of Baxter Stockman. Probably because of the limitations of the NES, actually. Of course, you couldn't play with 4 people either, but in the level where you're fighting Rocksteady and Bebop, you're fighting the Fly version of Baxter Stockman instead on the NES, if you remember. Well, thinking back, it's probably some kind of weird limitation that the old NES version had. But the snow level, of course, missing. That was a Nintendo exclusive. Same with the Shogun level that really didn't make much sense in the scheme of things for Ninja Turtles, but it's fine to be without those because I'd prefer having 4-player capabilities. The Sims 3 shows up on the Raptr report, not just because I'm installing something. For some reason right now, my Sims 3 store account won't let me even log in. I think because of my beta Star Wars access that I never actually used. And now the game is out, so I wouldn't be able to. But I think something got screwed up when I signed up for that and logged in for the first time, because ever since I haven't been able to get into the Sims 3 store. There's a free Ford Focus, I think is what it is, 2012 version. Don't really understand the difference much. Haven't looked at the features of the real car, I guess. But The Sims 3 itself is still The Sims 3. I do have a beef with the fact that they don't seem to honestly plan expansions. So, for instance, the Pets expansion gives you a new neighborhood that you can establish yourself in. But if you own World Adventures, you immediately get the 3 separate vacation spots. No problem. But what about the nightlife, night places to go to? So you could possibly meet a vampire. You have to move your original Sims either out, which screws up legacy families, and put them into the new version, the new neighborhood with all of this extra stuff, or you have to live with adding all of these extra things in a very limited world map as far as new buildings are concerned, and pray that it all fits. I have a beef with that. Not enough of a beef to keep me from playing, mind you, but it does make the original setup, once you pick up a new expansion pack, a bit difficult. Frustrating. Otherwise, Sims 3 is The Sims 3, and it's still, well, The Sims 3. You're basically a voyeuristic deity figure controlling totalitarian deity figure controlling all of your characters, or none of them, and letting them run around and catch themselves on fire. Depends on how you want to play it. Me, I'm kind of a control freak in this kind of a game, so I'll have a nice big family, and I'll be commanding them to do everything, everywhere. That's just me. I still enjoy it, though. The neighborhood option, so the entire neighborhood is loaded at the same time, and therefore you're sending only one Sim, say, to the grocery store or to the bookstore or library. Now that I've gotten used to it compared to Sims 2, I like it. But I still really miss the Sims 2 seasons and the university. I liked having a young adult stage that they actually went off to school somewhere else and lived there and were separate. And when your teenagers grew up to young adult, you could move them off to university, play them there, and then move them back home, or move them to a new place entirely. And you could have multiple households, active households. I would use the seasons as kind of my time stamp, so I would know, oh, well, that household is currently in fall, this household is currently in summer, so I need to play this summer household to catch everybody up time-wise. Sims 3 doesn't do that. You just stick and play with this main household, and if you make another household, if you make another neighborhood, you're literally making a complete and total copy. Not always a bad thing, because, for instance, my teenage self, for some reason, when I am the aggressor, my teenage version of Red Flare rejects me. So the only way to have a teenage relationship kind of similar to how things went is for me to be playing on her family as her and have her be the aggressor. Because then my sim is interested, and her sim, of course, because you're controlling her, is interested. So it's disturbingly real to life sometimes. Very disturbingly. Marvel Ultimate Alliance for the 360 also shows up on the Raptr report. Accidentally for 5 hours, it seems that the 3-year-old wanted to play it, and then when he was done, he turned off the TV but never turned off the Xbox. Oops. Still a good game. Never did get too far in it. Always have been playing with somebody who kind of held the group back, either the older son or now the younger son, who are both interested in the game, but the younger son likes to stand in fire and accidentally kill his characters unless he's the Human Torch, which I appreciate that level of quote-unquote realism for the game, but only the Human Torch can survive standing in the fire, so it makes it kind of difficult when he wants to be Spider-Man or Iron Man, and then we go to fight one of the Spider-Man villains. I believe the cold is impacting my memory, but the fishbowl head guy. Anyway, you can't get through him. You can't get past him because you have two wonderful little beings who just aren't going to pull it off. Kind of need to solo through that. Oh well. World of Warcraft, finally. Winterveil is here. Go kill that Grinch if you're level 81 or higher. Maybe 80 and higher. I'm not sure. I don't have an 80 to test that on. My Cataclysm characters are 81 or higher. But you get a new pet, possibly. Lumpy, the coal elemental. I have gotten him. Not the character I really wanted, but thanks to the coming of Mists, it doesn't really matter. I have Lumpy. That's all that matters. I have Lumpy. He's kind of a, I think I described him last week, but he's a black earth elemental with fiery glowing eyes. I really appreciate the artwork and detail they put on him. Haven't had him out long enough to, say, see if he does anything unique, but just having a black version of Pebble is awesome to have there, especially since I think he's a very rare drop, and I got him on the second or third day. The Grinch is the only daily this time around, and going and killing him or arriving just in time when another group is killing him is all that's needed, which is wonderful. I don't know how many times I've shown up on a character and the Grinch is falling over dead. I wish they would have instanced this so that you queue and you go. But at least they made it so you didn't have to be in the group that tags him. So anybody who participates in the kill gets credit for it. Or even if you're just sneaking up on the kill, you get credit for it. I appreciate that, Blizzard. Thank you. some of the new Cataclysm quest credit kills that were added there. Well, now that the Raptr report is completed, I'm going to actually stay in the world of Raptr. Raptr, for those of you that aren't familiar, why aren't you familiar? Go sign up. I'm Flame Flash there as well. Surprise, surprise. But they track your game time. Either you voluntarily and manually do it, or if you're using, say, the PC or Xbox, they do it for you automatically. The most played game on Raptr, they released these for the 2011 year. Shooter-wise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I know nothing. I cannot comment on shooters. I don't play shooters usually. So, congratulations, Modern Warfare. I assume you have a very robust multiplayer mode, which is why you're drawing so many people in. Congratulations on being very popular. The RPG is Skyrim. I can only assume these people are not playing, headphones are slipping, are not playing on a PS3, or else their save file growth would slog them to a halt. Now this is a game I would probably get on the PC or 360 regardless, but definitely now that I know there are so many problems with the PS3 version, which is unfortunate because I like to have my PS3 as my primary console. But I'm going to probably steer away from this one only because of the rating, M. If it's an M rating, I'm not going to have much opportunity to play it. Just look at God of War. It hasn't shown up in my Raptr report in a while because there's no time in the evenings for me to have a chance to play it. Yes, I could drop my World of Warcraft playtime down a little bit, but I'm having fun there. I'd like to gear up and actually kill Deathwing, because it's possible now. I just haven't had the time to do so. Open world. We have Batman Arkham City. So the most played open world game is Batman Arkham City. I salute thee, Batman Arkham City. I want to play these Batman games, both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Man, this cold's really killing me on memory or something. Maybe it's the hour. Anyway. Looks like a great game. Looks like an amazing game to play. I look forward to picking that one up eventually. Sports-wise, FIFA 12. Soccer. Yay. Soccer wins. Shame NBA Jam on Fire Edition didn't, but oh well. Oh look, one of my Raptr friends just started playing Skyrim. Surprise, surprise. Social games. So if you let Raptr track your social gaming, it will. On Facebook, say. Sims Social picked it up. Now, I've tried Sims Social. It's really neat. But it gives you... It's kind of too creepy for me. It's one thing to privately make a copy of some real-life person that you know and play as them, or play with them in your neighborhood and friending them and whatnot. It's another thing entirely when you are Facebook friends and have Sims and are visiting your Facebook Sim house, and their wants and needs possibly run completely counter to the relationship that you honestly have with the friend in real life. I'm not willing to put friends in that awkward situation, mostly because I have quite a few female friends on my Facebook. And I have more respect for those ladies than that, and I'm sure they have more respect for me than that. So I'm just removing the possibility of that weirdness right there. new intellectual property. So, brand new series. Huzzah. L.A. Noire. It's a, if you're not familiar, it's... Oh, there go the headphones again. It's a crime detective game. I don't know too much about it. I haven't had a chance to play it. Its concept seems neat. I haven't been overly interested in picking it up. I was never good on those kinds of figure it out games back in the day on the NES, but those also refused to hold your hand. So Shadowgate and whatnot, if you couldn't figure it out, or if you hadn't talked to somebody who figured it out, you were out of luck. Finally, as far as the categories that Raptr released, the free to play, or the paid to free to play transition. So there were a lot of MMOs. There are a lot of MMOs out there. Quite a few every once in a while transition from paid to free to play. By far, DC Universe Online, which I've talked about before, and since it went free to play, has gotten the most extra playtime action since going free to play. Above and beyond all of the others out there that may have done so, like EverQuest 2, for instance. Ugh, need those Vicks fumes. Anyway, so finally, the most played of all, Skyrim. Doesn't surprise me. My sister-in-law raves about how wonderful Skyrim is. She has an Xbox, so she's in good condition there as far as dodging any kind of save file weirdness goes. But I have a really small hard drive on my Xbox. It's one of the original 20 gigs. So I'm also a little wary of picking this thing up just for that. Because I know I'll try to do as much as possible in the game. And therefore I'll leave doors open. I'll knock things over. I'll move things around. And the save file saves every single little bit of that. So when you go back, it's the way it was when you left it. Amazing. But also a killer when it comes to space. But congratulations to those developers. Thank you, Raptr, for recording all of that information. And if you're just joining us for the first time, no, I usually don't stick to things that I haven't actually played as much as this, but I thought it was worthy at the end of the year to touch on some of these cool games that came out. Anyway, staying on the 360 for the moment, Capcom is releasing a digital collection. This is 8 XBLA games that they released previously, single A for download, $40. If the games weren't crap, I might be interested in picking it up. Sure, there's a Street Fighter in there, and I think there's, I don't know, a forward-scrolling shooter, and I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. Street Fighter Puzzle? Excuse me. Seriously? While it's cool that they're releasing it for, say, the people that can't download these things for whatever reason, you get a lot more bang with your buck, for your buck, with a game like Sega Classics Collection or Sonic's Sega Classic Collection. I forget what it's called, but some of those games were released on the Xbox for download, on the PS3 for download, even on the Wii for download. And you can get them all in one disc, also for $40. A much better deal than this thing is going to be. Capcom, if you're going to release or re-release games, why not re-release something that's going to be worthwhile? Like, give us an Ultimate Mega Man collection that puts Mega Man 1 through 10 and the X series on there. Heck, give us the Mega Man games of yore from the Game Boy on the 3DS for download. That would be amazing. But no. You're giving us 8, for the most part, unrelated downloadable games on the Xbox. And only the Xbox, too. Why? I don't get it. And I won't get it. Alright. So, speaking of the 3DS, I've stressed that the 3DS Ambassador games are now available. All of them. So if you are an ambassador, you can go get all of them. The 3DS, with this latest download service, or latest software update, has a new feature that I didn't know about previously. That I didn't know about last week. Download later option. You can queue up to 10 games, conveniently just the right amount for an ambassador, and download them all when it's in sleep mode in its cradle for the night. So I hit download later on my available downloads page from the 3DS eShop, and lo and behold, closed it up, slipped it back into my pocket, and there we go. I got my games. And I didn't have to sit there and stare blankly at the screen while it downloaded every single one individually. Sure, it would have been fast. I have a good internet connection. That's why I can come to you in a decent rate. But not having to stare at it, having a queue like the PS3 or the Xbox, really gives the 3DS that downloadable online cred that the Wii just didn't ever have. So, thank you, Nintendo, for at least waking up a little bit. I appreciate it. Alright. Rumor has it, well, it's not much of a rumor, it's been officially announced, Lego Lord of the Rings. No, I'm not talking some kind of new video game in the style of Pirates of the Caribbean or Harry Potter or Star Wars. I'm talking honest, hole in your hands, physical toys. Now, this does mean they probably have in the works a Lord of the Rings Lego game, but hopefully it's going to come out, say, at the same time as The Hobbit next year. Instead of on this bringing out the three originals and then tacking on The Hobbit later. So I'm really hopeful that they will give us all 4 right off the bat, instead of trying to bleed us dry like they did, say, with tacking on Crystal Skull for Indiana Jones. We never did pick up that version. We had the original version. The definitive original version. I don't really think Crystal Skull should have been considered, but that's just me. Knowledge is one's true treasure, after all. Thanks, Spielberg. Thanks. Anyway. Speaking of movies, Thor 2, rumor has it, is currently directorless, which has made Natalie Portman very happy. I think that's her name. I'm horrible with actresses' names. Since she was in Star Wars, prequel trilogy thing, I'll give her credit, I guess, or try to remember her name a little bit better. But I thought she was excellent in the original Thor. I guess she wasn't quite sure if she wanted to continue with the series or even sign up for it in the first place. Not sure about all of the Hollywood garbage in the background, but if you care about the Thor 2 project, it's currently directorless, which is unfortunate, and it means it's not going to have the same director as the previous Thor. So I don't know how much that matters. Sometimes it's the quality of actors, sometimes it's the quality of the director, sometimes it's both. I don't usually pay attention to the director as much as I do an actor that drives me nuts and then avoid the movie because of that. Odd. Just realized I know the names of the actors that drive me nuts better than I do the names of the actors that don't drive me nuts. Huh. Oh well. Here's looking at you, Will Ferrell. Still have the Ricky Bobby or whatever it is movie hidden somewhere on the movie shelf. Came with the original PS3 as on Blu-ray. Never watched it. It's hidden away. Need to throw it away. Oh well. Speaking of this original Sony, and Sony in general, we'll hop over to the fact that Sony is enjoying a taste of irony. Sony has been sued for the no suing provision of the recent Terms of Service update. I love irony. Thank you, whoever you are, for filing this class action lawsuit. It made me laugh. I'm not a litigious person myself. I don't care. I wasn't going to sue Sony over the fact that their network died. I feel compensated enough as it is. I got a free copy of Infamous. That's worth it. I haven't played it yet, but I got a free copy. Alright, public service announcement, real fast. We're approaching Christmas. It's very close. If you got rare earth magnets in any of your toys for your kids, if you have young kids that would or could possibly eat said magnets, get rid of the toy. That is all. Now, why, you might ask? I paid good money for this. Rare earth magnets, unlike non-rare earth magnets, I don't know what they'd be called, but they're more powerful. So after they've been eaten, they could still possibly attract to each other. I'll let your imagination take it from there. When they are ingested, they could still possibly be attracted to each other. And I'm slightly visualizing it for the video feed, but just shudder at your own imagination on that one. There has been at least one fatality from it. At least that's what the article I read about it said. Anyway, happier news. The Stop Online Piracy Act is being tabled, I think, for the rest of the year. Thank goodness. This act, in its name, doesn't sound like a bad thing. But consider the fact that everybody who's worked on it is getting hired off by, lobbyist Hollywood firms. Come on, guys. Stop with the revolving door in Washington. The iron triangle, if you will. Just stop. The FCC, now the SOPA, Stop Online Piracy Act. That's the trend, how it would trend on Twitter is the SOPA. But, no. Just, no. If you haven't called or written an email or anything to harass lawmakers about killing this thing yet, please do so. Sure, it's intention is pure, possibly, but how they're doing it is all wrong. Lawmakers just don't seem to understand the internet. It's a big truck, right? A series of tubes? No. But I'll end with the excited news of battletag. Battle.net battle tags. So, Real ID done right. Some of you may remember the debacle Blizzard had when they announced that they were going to require everybody to use real names on the forums. Well, that went over. Well, it went over not well. It's too late for me to figure out a cliche and butcher it. But it didn't go over well. And they fixed it. They backed off. The Real ID system, if you know a person in real life, you give them your email address. They put it in. And then you can see each other's server, see each other even though you're not on the same server, or maybe you're cross-faction. Or maybe you're playing StarCraft 2 instead. You can see each other online and talk. It's a great system. I like it. I appreciate it. Well, they're finally adding it in so you can have a handle and a unique ID number. Naturally, I'm already Flame Flash out there. You can go ahead and sign up. You can log into your Battle.net account and sign up for one. So I am now Flame Flash out there too. But somebody else, if they really wanted to, could be a Flame Flash as well. You just would have a completely different ID number after the handle. And cool. I like this. So eventually you will be able to give your ID tag number there to somebody that you've run into in an instance and go, hey, you're cool. I'd like to add you to my friends list so we could run again. What's your battle tag? Where before, when you were running, before looking for group, you'd add good people because they were on your server. You knew you'd see them again. You knew you could easily invite them again. That went away with the looking for group system. But I can see this as a way to add it back. And that's awesome. Supposedly it's going to come out first for Diablo 3. And then kind of balloon out from there. So, look forward to that if you are a Blizzard user of any of the 3 games when they come out. I am Flame Flash. Thank you for bearing with me as I have a cold and probably ran a little bit slower, and I know I ran a little bit long. And have a Merry Christmas. Podcast at flameflash.net for comments. I'm on Twitter as FlameFlash. Facebook is flameflash.net fan page. I'm all over the place as Flame Flash. PSN, Xbox 360, FlameFlash82. I actually have Xbox Live again for the next 3 months, so look me up there. And hopefully I won't have a cold and I'll have a headset that, fits marginally better. But thank you for stopping by, and this is Flame Flash, FlameFlash.net podcast, episode 32. Signing off and sniffing Vicks.